What if you could redesign the appearance of individual websites without installing a separate extension for every little change? That's what Boost and Zen Browser are made for. With Boost, you can personalize specific websites by changing their colors, typography, and visual style while leaving the rest of the web completely untouched. In this video, I'll walk you through the Boost system from beginning to end, including creating one, customizing it, naming it, importing and exporting Boosts, and removing them when you're finished. Let's get started. Open Zen Browser and navigate to the website you want to customize. Once the page is open, find the Boost controls and start a new Boost for the current website. You can do that by clicking the extensions icon next, the URL, and then clicking on the paintbrush icon. Or you can type in New Boost in the URL bar on the website you want to modify. You can now begin building your custom version of that site. The first thing you'll probably notice is the color customization. You can change the overall color appearance of the website and experiment with different combinations until you find something that fits your style. There's also a Smart Invert Colors option. This can intelligently invert the colors of a website to create a very different visual appearance, which can be especially useful when you want something darker or simply want to experiment with a completely different color scheme. Another interesting option lets you change the text case. You can force text into full uppercase or lowercase, which can dramatically change the visual style of a page. It's not something you'll necessarily use on every website, but it's a fun way to experiment with typography and can also be useful for certain designs or reading preferences. You can then go further with the advanced color controls. Here you'll find sliders for brightness, contrast, and original saturation. Brightness controls how light or dark the overall appearance becomes. Contrast changes the difference between lighter and darker areas, which can make a design look softer or much more pronounced. And the original saturation control changes how intense the original colors remain. These three controls are particularly useful when the basic color settings aren't quite enough and you want to fine-tune the result. If you don't feel like manually choosing every color, Zen also gives you a more experimental option called Shuffle Vibes. Clicking this randomizes the appearance of the boost, giving you a completely different combination to try. It's a useful way to discover unusual color combinations without manually adjusting every setting yourself. You can keep shuffling until you find something you like, then continue refining it with the other controls. Boosts aren't limited to visual styling either. You can use the available tools to remove unwanted parts of a website. With the element removal or zap functionality, you can select something directly on the page and hide it from view. This can be useful for things like sidebars, banners, widgets, or other page elements that simply get in the way. Once you've built a design you like, give the boost a useful name. Choosing a descriptive name such as Dark YouTube, Minimal Reddit, or Reading Layout makes it much easier to identify later, especially once you've created boosts for several different websites. You can return to an existing boost whenever you want and continue modifying it. This means you don't have to start over every time you decide the colors aren't quite right or you want to add another customization. There's also an export option, which is useful when you want to save a boost outside of Zen Browser or move your customization somewhere else. Zen can generate a file containing the boost configuration. You can then keep that file as a backup or share it with someone else. The opposite is import. Instead of creating a boost from scratch, you can import a previously exported boost configuration and use those settings again. This can be particularly handy if you've spent a lot of time fine-tuning a website and don't want to lose your work. And when a boost has served its purpose, you can remove it. Open the Boost Management controls, select the boost you no longer want, and use the Delete option. This removes the custom configuration for that website and lets it return to its normal appearance. The important thing to remember is that boosts are tied to individual websites. A boost you create for one site doesn't automatically redesign every website you visit. That means you can have a dark, high-contrast setup for one page, a minimal design for another, and completely normal styling everywhere else. This is what makes boosts so flexible. You're effectively creating small personal redesigns for the websites you use most. So the basic workflow is simple. Pick a website, create a boost, name it, Experiment with colors and advanced controls. Use Smart Invert or text case options when appropriate. Remove unwanted elements and use Shuffle Vibes when you want a little randomness. Once you're happy with the result, you can keep the boost, export it for backup, import one from another source, edit it later, or delete it whenever you want. That gives you a full set of tools for turning Zen Browser into something that feels much more personalized. One website at a time. For more Zen Browser tutorials covering its customization features and latest tools, check out the next guide. Thanks for watching.